Usually when you meet a guy that collects watches, or you yourself or somebody that collects watches or likes watches or buys watches or is always into watches, usually we're more into other things also, not just watches. Some guys are, into watches and cars. Other guys, baseball cards, airplanes, and all kinds of different stuff. I myself am into cameras. That's one of the things I really like. I don't have too many cameras. I just have the cameras that I use. But there was a time where I was buying a whole bunch of film cameras that I didn't really get to use because I don't have time for that. I like microphones, but microphones I use for my YouTube videos. So there's a few things that I like. But one of the things that I'm really into, and I'm not deeply into it because I don't spend a lot of money on like I do on watches. I spend a lot less, but it's EDC carry. And that's stuff that we carry with us in our pockets at all times. One of the things that I always carry with me is a pen. So I carry a metal pen. This pen is made by Bastion. They actually sent me this pen. This video is not about this pen. They actually sent me this pen. I have a maintenance channel where I do all kinds of stuff related. So they sent me this pen. I did a video for it. It's an amazing pen. I still have it. I've had a lot of pens over the years. I really like this pen. Usually a lot of guys carry their pens in their front pockets. I don't like doing that. Every time I lean over to pick something up or to fix something, and then pens falling out of me. I don't like that. So I always carry a pen in my pant pocket, in my front pant pocket. And if I carry just a cheaper pen or a plastic pen, they end up breaking a lot of times. So these don't break. That's why I use this kind of pen. It's a good pen. It's a pen that I carry with me. And this video is I'm gonna unbox or open a knife and a key organizer that I bought, and that's what this video is about. But I want to show you guys first what I do carry with me. Another thing that I always carry with me is my sunglasses. I've been into these Ray-Ban Wayfarers for a long time, and I learned a while back that quality sunglasses will last you a long time. These are not, obviously, Ray-Bans are not the most expensive or the highest quality, but they're about $100. So you're not going to lose them. You're not going to leave them everywhere. My first pair of Wayfarers I bought, I would say about 5 or 6 years ago, and I still have those, plus another 5 pairs. So I do have 6 pairs in total. Some of them I use for work. Some of them are in different cars, but I do use my Wayfarers, and these are great glasses. This is part of my EDC everyday carry stuff that I always have. Even in my truck, I have some of these that are work glasses. In my Jeep, in my wife's car, I have another set, and there's another set inside the house. So they're all over the place. I do like these really small wallets. These are wallets designed to be in your front pocket, and this one happens to be a Trove wallet. They're not very expensive. They're not very cheap, but they're not very expensive, and to me, it's well worth it because I carry this little wallet. I don't have it in my back pocket. It's really hard to lose a wallet like this because it's in your front pocket, so it can't really slide out of your pants or nothing like that. And sometimes when you have a bigger wallet, you stick a lot of stuff in there, and then when you're driving, you got to take it out of your pants so that you're not all crooked when you're driving, and that's where you lose them when you get off your car, your truck. And you just put it there and it falls off. So a wallet like this, 2 things. First of all, you can't put too much stuff in it, so you only carry what you need. I remember with my other wallets, I had all kinds of receipts and papers and business cards that people gave me that I didn't want to be rude, and I just put them in my wallet. And sure enough, then I had a big old fat wallet, but it wasn't money. It was just papers and a lot of trash. So now this wallet, I carry the essentials. I carry a few credit cards, my bank card, my driver's license, just essential stuff. So it'd be really hard to lose this wallet because it's always in my pant pocket, in the front pocket. So I do like this kind of wallet, and it's really small, so it's not something that's really a big deal. My keys, I carry my keys in this little clip here that I kind of like and I don't like because I don't know, everybody has these, and there's I don't know. I did order another key organizer for this. And another thing that I do want to talk about is the knife, the Kizer. Now, the thing about this knife, if you look at this knife, this is a big knife. This knife is about, once it's open, it's about 9 inches. I got this knife at a pawn shop for, I want to say like $20, which is not a bad deal because new, I got a price here, it's $75. It's not a super duper expensive knife, but it's made in China, but it's honestly, it is a really good quality knife. And I do have other knives. I'll show you guys a few of the knives that I do have. For example, I do always carry my Leatherman when I'm at work. So that's why I have a knife here, and I have all kinds of multi-tools in this knife. I do have this other ZT, or zero tolerance knife, which is, I think it's a pretty expensive knife too, from what I see, but of course I didn't pay a lot of money. I got it at a pawn shop. And I do have a William Henry knife, which is really nice. I'm trying to get the details of this knife. The wood is really nice. These are really high quality knives. I ended up, when I got this knife, I found the knife. I didn't really know about William Henry knives. I just walked in the pawn shop and this knife was there, and I thought it was a good looking knife. So I got the knife, and it was $28 or $29 at the pawn shop. And I know these knives are really expensive. They're in the hundreds. And so I was really fortunate. Then I went home and I started, Googling the knife, and I noticed that it's a nice knife. It's an expensive knife, but it didn't have a sheath, or the sheath that comes with it. So I was a little bit upset, but I was really happy that I got the knife. A few weeks later, and I kept on going back to that pawn shop, but it took about, I would say about 3 weeks. I walked in there and they had another knife with this sheath, which is the William Henry sheath. You can see it right there. They had this one, which is a pair to this knife. So I told the guy, I told him, I bought the knife that goes to that sheath. How much would you sell me just the sheath? And he tells me, no, it comes with this knife. And of course it was a different brand. It was a cheap knife. And that knife was $35, which was more than I paid for this knife. But for the $35, I was not going to let the sheath go. So I guess the knife ended up costing around $65, somewhere in there. But it's still a great deal. And this is a good knife. I don't carry this knife with me because it doesn't have a pocket clip. And I did put a little lanyard on it, but it's a nice knife. It's more of a jewelry piece. I wouldn't do any cutting with it or anything like that. It's too expensive. I don't want to sell it. It's just a knife that I keep with me. But the knife that I do use is my Kaiser, this knife. And what happens when you buy at a pawn shop is you buy what's there. You don't have a choice. I can't ask the guy, do you have another one in a different color or anything like that? But this one's a really nice knife. This knife has micarta on the sides. I forget what they call them. I'm not really, I like knives, but I don't know all the terms. I'm not really that much into knives. And you open it, it's a really soft open. Then it's got this button here where you close it. You could open it from the top. And you could open it from the side. It has thumb studs. There's a few ways of opening this knife. But the thing about this knife is, we were at our company Christmas party, and we had this white elephant thing going on, and some of the gifts were really wrapped in tape and stuff like that. And one of them, my co-workers asked me, do you have a knife I could borrow? Of course, I took out my knife, and everybody started laughing at my knife because it's so big, and everybody's saying, are you going to shank somebody with that knife, or what's that machete? So people were making fun of my knife. And I really like a big knife. I carry it in my pants pocket, and I never thought it was too big, but I guess it is a little big. 9 inches is truly a big knife. So what happens is, I do like this knife. This knife is really sharp. I'm going to do a little demonstration here. And I know any knife can basically do that. That's not a big deal. But if you look at this knife, I mean, I can cut just a little bit. I mean, this knife is really sharp. I'm cutting just a hair off that paper. This knife is really sharp. So I ended up ordering another knife, and like I said before, I mean, cutting a piece of paper like that is nothing for these kind of knives. I've never sharpened it. I got it like that at the pawn shop. It does great. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open the knife that I ordered. The knife that I ordered, and I haven't seen it. It's still in the packet here. This is the Kaiser Wagai. Of course, it's opening this is nothing with a knife. And I think the reason we really like knives and we carry knives is that they're so useful. I mean, remember I went on a trip to Las Vegas. We went on a trip to Las Vegas, and on our way over, I remembered, I didn't bring a knife. And I have more than these knives. I have quite a few knives. Not very expensive knives, but I do have quite a bit of knives. And I stopped at I don't know if anybody knows Picacho. There's Picacho Peak. They have a little store there, and it's really cool. They have all kinds of, desert stuff and rattlesnake stuff and all kinds of ornaments and really nice stuff. So I went to that store. They don't have high-end knives, but I did buy a knife that was like $20. And that knife really saved us on the trip. Everywhere we went, we had to, cut things and on the clothes. Can you cut this piece of whatever? So a knife is really useful. I always like having a knife. Even on that trip, it was well worth buying that knife because if I wouldn't have had that knife, there's a lot of things I would have needed a knife for. So knives are really something that I really do enjoy. Now this is the knife that I ordered. This is the Kaiser Wagai, which is a much shorter knife. It's only 7.3 inches, and I'm just opening right now. Hopefully, it's going to be as sharp as the other knife, and of course, it comes with a sticker. You can see the sticker already. Comes with a sticker. Move some of these stuff out of the way. Comes with I guess that's another sticker. I don't know any of these. I like knives. I'm not really that much into all the terminology and all the stuff. So it does have a cleaning cloth, I guess, for the knife and some kind of paperwork or information or something. So it's got extra screws. Well, that's pretty nice. I guess they're easy to lose. And of course the knife is a lot shorter than the other one. My thing is I don't know if it's as sharp as the other one. Now, scales, that's what they call this, what's on the sides, the scales. So of course this one also has micarta scales, but much newer than the one I got at the pawn shop. And it's a much shorter knife. I think it's going to be easier to carry. Now the pocket clip, I could put it on either side. As you can see, it's got holes on this side. Well, it's on this side, and then it's got holes on this side, so I can, left or right. Now this is I like this type of blade. And like I said before, I don't know what you would call this blade, but if you compare it, it's a much shorter blade or knife in general. But of course, the blade is. I don't even know if this knife is legal in all states. It's more than 4 inches. What is it? Well, actually, the blade is 3.9 inches, so maybe it is legal. I don't know. Now this one is a lot shorter. This one's the Begleiter XL. That's what this knife is. The Kaiser Begleiter XL, and it's an amazing knife. Maybe a little bit too big for some to carry, but it is an amazing knife. Now, this is the Wagai, Kaiser Wagai. This one only has a 3.1 inch blade, so it's much smaller. Now here's the thing. I want to see if it'll cut. I want to see if it'll cut like the other one. I've never sharpened the other knife. I got it used. Oh yeah, and of course it got no problem cutting at all. Now I want to see if it can do what the other knife does. I can just cut just a little bit. Yep, definitely can. And I know this is not really a knife test. It's a knife test I use because I'm not a knife guy. Well, I wasn't even on camera. Let me do it again. So you can see it's cutting just a sliver without tearing the paper. I don't know if that's an actual knife test, but that's what I'm using. And cutting a piece of paper is nothing for this knife. The blade's not too long, but so definitely this is a nice knife, much shorter. This one is, it's, I guess they call this a liner lock, where you push on the liner on the sides, and it's a little bit harder to open. I guess you got to do like kind of like the Spyderco flicker. But it's a nice knife, much small, much shorter, much different than the other one. But yeah, I would recommend this knife for sure. I'll start carrying this knife with me. Now, the other thing that I got is this key organizer. I had actually finished recording this video, and I realized I didn't even mention the watch that I'm wearing. And this being a watch channel, I think it's only fair that I mention the watch I'm wearing. Today I'm wearing this Seiko Monster first generation, which is honestly a beautiful watch. I really always enjoy this watch. This is a watch that I do have a whole bunch of watches that I use, Omegas and Tudors and Breitlings and all kinds of watches, but this watch is right up there with them, and for a much better price. So the watch that I'm wearing on this video is this Seiko Monster first generation, and I love it. Now I have a knife here to open this with, no problem at all. That's where knives come in very handy, is when you open boxes and packages, and now everybody's buying from Amazon and stuff like that, so we're always opening this kind of stuff. I have a whole bunch of trash in here. Let's look at this knife, this key organizer. I know this channel is more geared for watches, but once in a while, it's nice to see other things, I guess. Now, this is what I got, this key organizer. And these would be the washers to adjust the sides. So what this does, it's got I guess this is a lanyard. I could take it off if I want it. So if I wanted to put a lanyard on this thing, it's got a hook for it. The reason I got this one is because it's got a pocket clip. So I'm sure you guys have seen these before. You put your keys in here instead of clipping my keys to my belt or my belt loop. I can put them in my pocket, and the keys go in here, of course. And then you could just open them just like you would a knife. So anyways, I just thought I'd do a video about this knife opening or unboxing, I guess you could call it. It's really smooth. Of course, my Carta scales are newer on this one. The other ones are pretty worn out. I didn't realize that they came this nice. The other one probably has a lot of use. But even with the use that this knife has had, the blade is still really sharp, and I'm not really good at. I've never even tried sharpening this blade because I know I'm not gonna get even close to it. Of course, anytime I have to cut something hard or rigid or something that's gonna tear up a knife, I would use my Leatherman. This is the knife that I carry with me at work. These kind of knives I use more for opening boxes and stuff like that, but it's always good to have a nice knife. Anyways, that was my video today. I wanted to show you guys, a little bit of my EDC, everyday carry, and show you guys this knife. And I would highly recommend this knife. I would highly recommend this pen. This is the Bastion pen. It's really heavy duty. It does use the refill in it is the same that you would use in a Parker pen. So you could always find those refills. They sell some of those refills that are gel, and they write really nice. So this is a really recommendable pen. I'll put a link to the pen too, to the wallet, to the knives, and to the key organizer. I'll see you guys in the next video.